Hello, my name is Natalie Sexton, and I am the PTK president of Chapter Epsilon at Cottey College in Nevada, Missouri.
Makadi sitalangu ndonzichilo shamealira ndiri mbatu wehomo we PTK pa Cottey College.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Yasmine Gior et je suis une membre de PTK à Cottey College.
We have been working diligently this semester on our Honors in Action project. This year, our chapter decided to focus on diversity in the way it transforms our world. So, we decided to take notice of all the different cultures and ethnic backgrounds our campus supports.
Surprisingly, approximately 15% of the students at Cottey College are international, in addition to domestic students from all over the United States. Because of this high percentage, it has become normal to interact with different cultures on a daily basis.
On campus, we have the opportunity to learn from the students. It permits us to share new perspectives of the world by connecting together. These interactions have advanced our global awareness, social responsibility, and leadership skills.
However, we question that the surrounding community in Nevada, Missouri may not be reaping these benefits. Come to find out, Nevada only represents 9.1% of internationalities. We want to make this community aware of the benefits of diversity to transform the world.
Is there a connection between African pop music and American pop music?
Yes, there are lots of connections actually, because American pop music is made up of musicians who have African heritage. When you look at genres of music from soul to rock and roll to jazz to hip hop to even R&B, the call and response that you get, even the instruments that are used, the percussion, the dance styles, all go back to their history and heritage that they brought with them from Africa. Even though all these have evolved, for example, when you look at some instruments, maybe the drum or the shekere, you see they have been transformed into different types of maybe use of metals or more advanced instruments that are no longer exactly how they were used in Africa and by Africans, but that have been transformed. So yes, there are lots of connections. And also, when we talk about the Americas, I always want to remind us that the Americas, it's not just the United States, it is part of the Americas. There is also the Americas in the Caribbean, and when you talk about Jamaica, Cuba, where Africans also settled through slavery, through the slave routes. And the genre of music, for example, reggae, that we have from there have become global sort of music that are not just particular to maybe Jamaica or to the Caribbean, but also very popular in the United States. And all these, the reggae music, the Rastafarian movements, were all inspired by Haile Selassie during the time that Italy occupied Ethiopia in 1935 and 1936, and that led to that movement to happen. And in the modern times, we see even more evolution and involvement and connection of African pop music and American pop music in the way that they dance. So there are so many musicians, American pop musicians, who are embracing and actually also integrating not just the styles, the rhythms, the instruments, but also Africans as well.
Could you give us some examples?
Take for example Sierra. Sierra Harris is very well known for having done that. She has done tours in Africa, and she recently released a song that is called Freak Me, which she did with Techno. Techno is a popular Nigerian musician, and they did that song. If you go to YouTube, you will see them performing this song in Soweto, and Soweto is all the way down in South Africa. Also Beyonce. Beyonce has also done some music that featured Africans. For example, her music Flawless features Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, her popular TED Talk where she entitled We Should All Be Feminists. And that song also featured Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So these are just some examples of how African pop music inspires, influences, and connects to American pop music.
How can we use this connection to better our world?
Thank you for asking. I really appreciate this topic and this question. As you know, music is a therapy. Every individual, every human being, young, old, female or male, they all need something to uplift their souls. And music is used across the board, globally, as a means of healing, of connection, of building relationships, of expressing certain types of feelings. As I was growing up, I remember that time when I used to listen to music from other cultures, for example, USA, American music. I really loved it. I couldn't tell the culture, but I could connect through the rhythms and the lyrics. So there's more to music than just to say it's music from this culture. There's more to it. People in this world are connected through music. If you go back to the 1950s or 1940s, we see music that was played that time, we hear, and up to now, we are still expressing those kinds of feelings that they had that time. We connect with them in a certain way, even though we are in the 21st century. And your generation right now, I see you very much open and adaptable to that kind of music, and also relating to their own time, own kinds of emotional challenges that they went through, the problems, and what made them play those music. For example, Aretha Franklin, she is from here in the US. Her music gained more popularity in the whole world. It was received in Australia, it was there in Canada, in Africa, and her lyrics about Amazing Grace was used in religious settings. Not only religious, even in secular. You could hear people singing some of her songs to express and to appreciate. So music is another expression which is needed to make people know what we need to see in the world. Love is another way music expresses in our communities. What is very important about music is about bridging differences. It brings connections in this world. Connections which makes people appreciate each other's differences and appreciate the styles of music through those connections. And doesn't end there, it's also part of embracing one another in our own diverse backgrounds. In schools, we see people from different cultures. For example, here in our institution, we've got students from different backgrounds. Some from Asia, Europe, Africa, Caribbean islands, local, different states with different values and beliefs. But through music, we find ourselves coming together and embracing one another and listening to anyone's needs and embracing that. So music makes connections in terms of bridging differences, in building communities, in building peace, and building relationships that are needed for both self-loving or community-loving, and also reaching out to the needy. Just like Nelson Mandela, who also talks about Ubuntu love, which I also connect with my own culture. Ubuntu love is about loving community and loving ourselves. It doesn't limit. Ubuntu connection through music means everyone is part of that community. Everyone needs to be loved. Everyone's problem needs to be addressed and be embraced. We know that when people have their own problems, we tend to say, we don't know what to do about it. But when we bring music in the center, the messages that is sent out through music makes that person see and understand that I'm not alone on this journey. Some people come from cultures where life has been torn apart, but through music, people embrace each other and express love. And through the instruments that we use in different cultures, I have discovered that even other cultures love to learn how to perform, how to use, how to play those instruments. For example, this instrument from Zimbabwe, this is a thumb piano. I know some people don't know much about this instrument. It's called mbira. You play by plucking it. And there's a lady who lives in Germany called Stella Chueshe. She is now popular in her music by expressing the love that she brings through this instrument, as well as sharing the message by the use of this instrument. Not only that, we also have another instrument from South Africa, which is called the talking drum. Talking drum, it expresses messages through the way it is played. The way you play it is another way of teaching people about cultural diversity. That's a connection, appreciating the differences, how other instruments are performed. So this instrument, you squeeze it, and it produces this music. That's what they call talking drum. So the connections don't only come from the lyrics that we use when we are expressing ourselves, but also through listening to rhythms and how the rhythms are expressed, to express feelings and to share the love that we are talking about. I've mentioned about Nelson Mandela's reconciliation expression of Ubuntu, which I also believe in and trust and value much. Ubuntu means you are a human being, but you're not alone. For you to be who you are is because of the community that comes together to embrace one another and help one another and find ways to find solutions to address certain issues of the community. Another instrument that I want to bring across is the instrument of this ache. This is an instrument from West Africa. Ghana uses this, Nigeria uses this, and this instrument is different from other cultures which uses them in a different way. The shaker, the seeds are inside and the sound is produced by shaking it, whereas this one, because of the connections we are talking about, the sound doesn't come from inside but from the outside. Or you can use body percussion. So there are so many connections that that brings us together by teaching how to perform, how to play these instruments in other cultures and making them see that this is important. Another way I have valued the use of music in our lives. Not only is it important for us to bridge connections, but also to educate about other people's values. For example, children's music. We can use these instruments to teach about children's culture and also connect with other people's cultures and teach how other cultures raise their children and express some of the games through music. We can play the music and make them dance following some different patterns to show how life is expressed in their own cultures. We have so many musicians from different cultures who travel all over the world to share this beauty of music we are talking about. That I call it the aesthetics of music. There's beauty in music, not just listening to it, but even playing it or touching the instruments. There's power in touching and feeling how things go in the other types of instruments. Like this drum from Mozambique. The head is full of fur, which is goat or cow skin. Whereas the Nigerian and Ghana instrument or Liberian instrument, the top is so smooth and it still produces some sound. And yet this one also produces another type of sound. So those differences make us understand that although we come from different backgrounds, we are living in different backgrounds, we are in this country at different levels, we still embrace one another and express one another's needs in a different way and see how we can support one another. Music is a very important tool. It builds communities, it helps address issues that bothers, that troubles other community members. It helps bring us people together. It helps to break barriers that creates differences. Music is love. Music is peace. Music is needed in every areas of our lives. From here, I say thank you for making me express my passion as an educator, as a leader in this community, to share this power of love through music expression. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
As you can see, African pop music has largely impacted American pop music.
Music and dance are a universal common ground for connecting different groups of people.
By understanding different cultures, we can aim for a future that's grounded in acceptance and where diversity is valued.
Thank you for watching our video.
Merci beaucoup.
Maita Basa.